When I got promoted, my wife's sister said, "Guess they needed a token idiot." My wife just smiled. At the family dinner, they toasted her ex instead right in front of me. I left early. My wife texted, "Don't be dramatic." It was a joke. The next day, I didn't go to work. I went somewhere I should have gone months ago. I've worked my entire adult life in one place, Bardstown Road Plant, just outside downtown Louisville. It's a grimy, noisy, hard-ass place to work, and for years, I busted my back on the floor. I used to come home with oil in my pores and steel shavings stuck in my boots. But I kept my head down, did the job, picked up every extra shift I could. I didn't complain. I took night classes at Jefferson Community College when most guys my age were winding down at a bar. I worked my way up. Not fast, not flashy, but real work, honest work. So when I got promoted to operations supervisor last month, it meant something to me. It wasn't just a new title. It meant I wasn't just another grunt. It meant I finally made it to the other side of the damn door. When I told Melissa, she was sitting on the couch scrolling through her phone. I remember the moment like a photograph. "I got it," I said. "Got what?" "The promotion. Ops supervisor. Full-time. Starts Monday." She didn't even look up. Just said, "That's great, honey," and kept scrolling. I stood there waiting for something. A smile, a hug, a kiss. Instead, she asked what we were having for dinner. That night, she posted a picture to Instagram, 2 champagne glasses, and a caption, "Here's to new beginnings." I figured she was being coy about my news, but then the comments rolled in. "Is this about Ava's college acceptance? Did Craig reach out again?" I waited. Nothing. Not one correction from her. My promotion didn't even make the caption. I didn't say anything. I should have, but I didn't. That Friday, we had dinner with her family at her parents' house in St. Matthews. It was the usual crew, her parents, both sisters, their husbands, and a couple cousins. I used to enjoy those nights. Not anymore. We were halfway through the meal when her dad turned to me and said, "So I hear you got some good news at work." Before I could open my mouth, Jody, her younger sister, the one who thinks she's always the smartest in the room, goes, "Guess they needed a token idiot." Just like that, everyone burst out laughing like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. Even her mom slapped the table. Jody just smirked, proud of herself. And Melissa? She smiled. She actually smiled. Didn't say a word to shut it down. Didn't tell her sister to knock it off. Just sipped her damn wine and let it hang in the air like I deserved it. I was stunned. I felt like a damn fool. Like they all saw me as some joke that kept around out of pity. But I stayed quiet. I swallowed it. I smiled to my teeth like a coward. It got worse. Later, when dessert came out, Melissa's mom made peach cobbler, her favorite. They started reminiscing about Craig, her ex, the golden boy. He used to be a bartender downtown, made fancy drinks, and wore those tight shirts that showed off his arms. Melissa's mom said, "Craig used to grill salmon with that lemon butter glaze, remember?" Then Jody added, "And his cocktails were amazing. He actually had taste." Melissa laughed right next to me. Then her dad, holding up his glass, said to Craig, "That guy knew how to host a real dinner." I waited for Melissa to stop it, to say something, anything. She clinked glasses with them. Right then, I stood up, didn't say a word, walked out the front door. Nobody called after me. Nobody asked if I was okay. Melissa didn't even text until 2 hours later. Her message said, "Don't be dramatic." It was a joke. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat in the dark with a beer in my hand, staring at the floor. The truth settled in my chest like a cinder block. I was a joke to them. All of them. And my wife didn't care enough to defend me. The next morning, I put on my uniform. Same routine. Same boots. Grabbed my keys like I was headed to the plant. But I didn't go to work. I drove somewhere else, somewhere I should have gone months ago. I didn't know exactly where I was going when I left the house that morning. I just drove south, past the city, down roads I hadn't taken in years. I ended up in Elizabethtown, about an hour away. It's where my brother lives. We hadn't talked much since Mom died. Drifted apart. Different lives, different mistakes. But I needed somewhere quiet. Somewhere nobody was laughing at me. I parked in front of his place and just sat in my truck for a while. He came out eventually, shirtless, holding a coffee mug, looked surprised to see me. "Damn," he said. "You alive?" I didn't laugh. I just said, "You got a beer?" He nodded and waved me inside. I told him everything. Not all at once. Just bits and pieces between long silences. The promotion, the dinner, the Craig toast, Melissa's text. I didn't cry, but my throat hurt like hell. He listened, actually listened. Then he said, "You're being used, man. She doesn't respect you. None of them do." I already knew it. Hearing it out loud just made it harder to pretend. I stayed there that night. Melissa didn't call, didn't text, just silence. Like me being gone wasn't even worth noticing. By Sunday, I drove back. When I walked into the house, she was in the kitchen, pouring coffee like it was any other day. "You good now?" she asked, like I'd just taken a walk to cool off. I didn't answer. I just went upstairs, showered, and sat on the edge of the bed. That night, she tried to initiate sex like nothing happened. I couldn't do it. I rolled over. The next week, I found out she'd been talking to Craig again. Her phone lit up when she left it on the kitchen counter, his name right there in the preview. I clicked. Just one thread. Nothing explicit, but enough to know they'd been in touch for months. She had sent him pictures, one of our dog, one of the cobbler from that dinner. The caption, "Made your favorite last night," smiley face. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I needed proof. And I needed to figure out what the hell I was going to do. So I started watching, reading messages when she left her phone, checking her location when she ran errands. She wasn't sleeping with him, not yet. But emotionally, she never really left him. One night, she told me she was going out with her sister for dinner. I followed her. She didn't go to Jody's. She went to Craig's apartment near the waterfront. She stayed there 3 hours. When she came home, I asked, "How was Jody?" She didn't flinch. "Annoying as always," she said, laughing. She lied to my face, and I just nodded. I was done playing dumb, but I wasn't ready to blow it up yet because now it wasn't just about betrayal. It was about revenge. A few days after I saw her at Craig's apartment, something strange happened at work. My supervisor, Mike, a guy I've known for years, pulled me into his office and closed the door. "You okay, man?" he asked. "Yeah." "Why?" He leaned forward. "Somebody filed a formal complaint against you. Said you've been aggressive, short-tempered, maybe even unstable. HR's involved." I just stared at him. "That's bullshit," I said. "I know," he said. "It's anonymous. But they've got notes, dates, specifics." I left the office shaking. It didn't make sense. I hadn't snapped at anyone. I'd been quiet, maybe withdrawn, but not unprofessional. Then something hit me. Melissa had access to my schedule, my calendar. She knew when I worked and who I talked to. I went back through our texts and hers to others. I remembered the night I told her about a guy I had to write up for being late. She joked, "You turning into a hard ass now." That incident was listed in the complaint. I didn't have proof she was behind it, but it was too precise, too well-timed. Someone close to me wanted to ruin me at work quietly from the inside. That same week, I found out something else. Our joint bank account had 2 large withdrawals, each just under the daily reporting threshold. Melissa had taken out $4,800 in cash over 3 weeks. When I asked her about it, she said she was paying off some old debt from before we got married. I pressed her. "What debt?" She rolled her eyes. "Jesus, why are you so paranoid lately?" I didn't let it go. I checked credit reports. There was no such debt. And our savings. Down over $9,000 from the start of the year. That night, I went back into her messages. There it was. Craig, we can put down the deposit this weekend. Melissa already pulled it. I'll handle it. He's not even paying attention anymore. A deposit. She wasn't just seeing him again. She was planning to leave me, take my money, take my job, and move in with the same guy her family toasted right in front of me. All while I stood there smiling like a fool, thinking my only problem was a mean joke. I wasn't broken. I was furious. I knew what I had to do next. After I read that message, the one about the deposit, I just sat in the dark, phone still in my hand, heart pounding. She was planning everything under my nose. Slowly, carefully, she thought I was too dull to notice. Too weak to do anything about it even if I did. She wasn't just cheating. She was gutting me financially, emotionally, and now professionally. That weekend, I started collecting everything. Screenshots of messages, bank statements, GPS locks. Even phone bill records showing how often they talked, always during her errand runs or when I was on late shifts. I bought a burner phone. Used it to set up a private email account. I stored all the files there. Uploaded copies to a cloud server under a fake name. I wasn't going to confront her without a plan. I was done making emotional moves. I was going to bleed her slow. Then came the next twist. I went to pick up my truck from the shop, routine oil change. The mechanic, a guy I've known since high school, said, "Hey, that front passenger seat, you want us to leave that stuff in there or pull it?" "What stuff?" He walked me out. There was a shopping bag shoved deep under the seat. Inside, receipts, hotel key cards, a small perfume bottle, a handwritten note that said, "Tonight was perfect. Can't wait to do it again. Love you, M." She hadn't even bothered to hide it well. She was that sure I wouldn't look, or maybe that sure I wouldn't care. That same night, she came home late, hair curled, smelling like perfume she never wears for me. Said she was with Jody again. I asked her straight out, "You still seeing him?" She didn't even blink. "What the hell are you talking about?" That's when I knew she was going to ride the lie all the way down. Even with the evidence in my hands, she'd pretend. Make me out to be the crazy one, the paranoid husband. That's what she was setting up. Every lie, every text, every whisper behind my back. Painting me as unstable so that when she left, nobody would ask questions. Just nod and say, "Well, he was kind of a mess." She wanted me gone quietly, shamefully, but I wasn't going quietly. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in over a decade. I called in sick. Then I drove to the county clerk's office and pulled property records. Craig's name wasn't on any lease, but Melissa's was. She'd signed it with her maiden name. It was done. They already had a place, a whole new life set up. And they were going to leave me behind, stripped of my money, fired from my job, and smeared as some bitter burnout. That's when I knew. No more waiting. No more gathering. It was time to move. But not the way they expected. Not loud. Not with yelling or broken dishes. I was going to destroy them the way they tried to destroy me. Slow, smart, and cold. The day I pulled the last thread was a Tuesday. Melissa had no idea what I'd been doing behind the scenes. She still thought I was half asleep to the world, still dragging myself through the job, still not asking the right questions. But I had spent weeks preparing. First, I met with a lawyer. Quiet office near Frankfurt Avenue. I walked in with a folder thick with printouts, messages, financial withdrawals, call logs, photos. The lawyer didn't say much at first. Just flipped through the papers slowly, then looked up at me. "This is the lot. Will it hold?" He nodded. "She's been preparing to abandon the marriage, siphoning joint funds, and conspiring with a third party. This isn't just infidelity. It's financial fraud. If you want to go scorched earth, I can make that happen." I said one word, "Do it." We filed for divorce the next morning. Cited dissipation of marital assets. I froze the joint accounts. I pulled my direct deposit and moved it to a new bank. I had a restraining order filed against Craig. Based on the harassment angle with all the contact and trespassing when I wasn't home, it was weak, but it created enough distance to slow things down. Then I submitted a counter-complaint at work with a full report. I never accused Melissa directly. Instead, I showed that the anonymous HR complaint mirrored dates and incidents I had only discussed with my spouse. I laid out a timeline that proved I was being sabotaged by someone close. HR took it seriously. They had to. I wasn't just defending myself. I was proving a pattern. By Friday, Melissa came home and knew something had changed. She saw the envelope on the counter, the divorce filing, and just froze. "What is this?" she asked. "You tell me," I said, looking her dead in the eye. "You've been planning this for months. Just didn't think I was smart enough to see it." She tried to pivot, deny, blame, even cried a little, said she was confused and depressed and felt invisible. I let her talk. Then I said, "You stole from me. You mocked me. You let your family treat me like garbage. And you plan to ruin my job to make it easier to walk away clean." Her eyes went cold. The act dropped. "You think anyone's going to believe you?" I pulled out a USB, set it on the table. "They already do." She left that night. Not even a full suitcase. Just her purse, her keys, and whatever pride she had left. Craig. The lease he signed with her name got flagged in the divorce process. The building manager was served notice. They lost the deposit. I made sure of it. Her family. I sent them a copy of the texts, the champagne post, the deposit note, the toast to Craig, along with a short message, "You toasted the wrong man." Her dad called once, left a voicemail. "I didn't know it was that bad," he said. I never called back. HR dropped the complaint. My name cleared. My supervisor pulled me aside and said, "Hell of a mess. But you handled it like a pro." 2 months later, I got another raise. And Melissa. She moved into a small apartment off Dixie Highway. No Craig. No new beginning. Just quiet. Just consequences. She texted me once, months later. "I didn't think you had it in you." She was right. But I did. I always did. I just stopped wasting it on people who never deserved it. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel.